Worries. Let's keep this super informal and really great to meet you all. Thanks for the introductions. Give me a shout anytime if you want to ask about anything really. But just wanted to share a little bit of photos and sceneries and kind of what to expect and tell about Lapland as well. Um, this is basically a photo from the Sevenfells area. So you've probably heard about the races a few times already. So all I just say is that I know some of you from we've got great memories together, but also really enjoy inviting new people to Lapland. So my background is in events and in sporting, travel-heavy sporting events. And I did that. I was based in Hong Kong and in Asia for a very long time of my life, but then wanted to return to Finland at the end of 2019, I think it was. Got a bit homesick and started missing my mum. And then COVID hit. So I then I was thinking, where does it make sense to be? And the place that makes sense to be was this place that you can see. So I parked my car, or packed my car and drove to Lapland, where there were less people, more reindeer than people, less COVID virus. And I went there to just ski, do remote studies and enjoy my life. And Lapland's a big place, but this particular place is where I've spent a lot of time with the family before, and it's a place I know very well. And so this is where I then arrived, and this was 2020. But Lapland's the largest wilderness in Europe, and it covers Norway, Sweden, Finland, and a bit of Russia as well. So where I'm based is 67 degrees north, which is about 200 kilometers above the Arctic Circle. Um, but the place is it's huge, and it's also very diverse in terms of seasons and the weather as well. And culturally, it's very interesting because we have the Sami indigenous people there living as well, who are the only indigenous people in the EU, in fact. And so it's one of those beautiful, pristine places that we have left in the whole globe. And this is what I then wanted to set up with my local teammates. So we gave it a name, Arctic Escapades. Just wanted to have a platform to invite people over to experience Finland in an authentic way. So locally produced adventures, authenticity, community, those kind of values. It doesn't matter what level of fitness people are. We just want to show them the best bits of our home country. So this is what we came up, and this was now our third season actually as a company, and still very, very much enjoyed. Only the beginning probably. Here you can see our seasons. So because we are so far in the north, we have 8 seasons. If you come to visit Helsinki, which I recommend very much in winter, spring, winter, autumn time, it's also very beautiful. But in Helsinki, we have only 4 seasons, like in most European countries. But in Lapland, we can generally say we have 8 just because it is so far in the north. And we openly focus in the winter time because that I feel that is the most stunning time, and most different to international visitors. But actually, any of these seasons are very, very beautiful. And we don't just play with the weather, but we play with the light, basically. So the time of the year. So from midnight sun, when the sun doesn't actually set at all, to the deep winter and the polar night time, which is when the sun doesn't rise at all. And that's a huge difference. And it may be hard to believe, but a lot of local people in Lapland, they love the polar night the most. And that's the time when the sun doesn't actually rise. Northern Lights are part of it, so we can still see them. Now starts to be the time where it gets very hard to spot because we have such long days already. Now in Lapland, the day is longer than in middle or center Europe. But so basically, Northern Lights we're able to admire from sort of end of September until middle of April, more or less, middle or end of April. And again, this year we were super lucky. We had every single group was able to see the Northern Lights during this winter. Some people saw it many times, like during the Arctic Challenge. I think at least 4 or 5 times. Sometimes just once a week, but it's as long as people see them. But we never promised them because we need to have the solar activity and the weather match. But if they don't appear, then what we often also get is this. And so I think anything just to be out there in the dark in Lapland is beautiful. So this is the some pictures from the deep winter time. So between December and February, this is the sort of scenery that you're looking at. And to me, I think this is the most mesmerizing time, and this is also why the Arctic Challenge takes place in the middle of February. So it's colder, but cold makes it more amazing, which is why it's worth experiencing at least, I think, once in your life. I'll share a few photos from last winter. So we started. We're kind of you could say a DMC. So we welcome people to Lapland and custom make, tailor make different kind of experiences for private groups, but also then for individuals, like for the Arctic Challenge. But the first visitors I had came from Hong Kong. This was the first days of January. And this is where we hit the very, very cold, which doesn't happen every year. But I was so pleased that these people came because basically they couldn't even fly all the way to Lapland because it was so cold for the planes to land. But the scenery was just so really, really beautiful. I guess some of you might have read the news about the January cold when it got to this -35, -40 temperatures. And so I just wanted to show these pictures as a proof that, yes, we were very much out and the faces were a little bit frosty, but we were able to do a lot of things. So don't be afraid of the cold.
And Rita, if you don't mind, I'm just going to pop in and say that
Yeah.
even at those temperatures, because I've been in those temperatures now, like -30, it actually it doesn't feel that cold. It doesn't feel like one might expect -30 to feel like. I mean, as long as you're bundled up, which we are, and you're staying active, it doesn't feel that bad, and it's absolutely beautiful as well.
Yeah, I think the difference in the layers, like between -20, which is what we would most typically have during the cold time of the year, to -40, all you need more is basically like one extra buffer jacket and thicker buffer trousers to wear, and that keeps you warm. Because we never really stand around out, we're always doing something. And when we go inside, all the houses and the cabins, they are warm. So and the cars as well. So, mhm. Okay, this was another family who came in January. We did a custom trip with them, so they could choose all the activities they wanted to do, and you can see similar sports that during the Arctic Challenge. The difference is that these guys wanted to stay in a lovely villa, which is fair enough, and they wanted to have a say of how long they go every day. And then we had another group of ladies from the US, eight ladies who came to have a bit of time off from their families and from their husbands. And of course, we went to the local reindeer karaoke, which is sometimes an after party place for the Arctic Challenge as well. Okay, then the season after that is we call it like snow crust because we can basically snow gets so hard that you can even bicycle over the snow. So this is then usually March and April and the beginning of May. Way longer days, way milder temperatures, why this is a good time to do things like cross-country skiing or hut-to-hut ski trips. It's just more comfortable when you're there for like really, really, really long. People like to go to the terrace a lot and drink beer too. It's that time of the year. But also a very nice season. I can't tell which one's nicer. I usually get excited of both seasons, so it's worth experiencing both if you have a chance. We did an Easter escapade. That was one of our trips. So basically, those who did the Arctic Challenge last year, and this is where Andrew can say, "Yes, I was there." Um,
Yes.
do you want to share about it?
Uh, yeah, well, I'm sure you've got a whole summary prepared, but yeah, the focus of this trip was on cross-country skiing, and I think the description was supposed to be from zero to hero. And I certainly started at zero, but I'm not sure that I made it to hero. But it wasn't all about cross-country skiing. We did do some lessons at the beginning, and then we had a day around Akoslompolo where we went to a wilderness cafe for lunch, and that was sort of the first proper outing. And then the second part of the trip, we went further north to Kilpisjärvi, and that was much whiter because further north there was still more snow. And we did some other activities. You can see there that we went snowmobiling. And on the snowmobile trip, we did some ice fishing, although we didn't catch any fish. But apparently, some days everyone catches something, and other days nobody catches them. But as the organizer said, it just meant that we have to go back another time. And then we also did a road trip up to the Arctic Ocean in Norway. So that was a different, new country for me. And as you get closer to the sea, it's noticeably warmer, and the snow wasn't as much snow around. And then I guess the main cross country skiing event was when we went across a lake and then a little bit further to a boundary stone which marks the border between Finland, Sweden, and Norway. So that was quite a special goal to aim for. And yeah, I made it. It was 21 kilometers there and back. I wasn't able to keep up with the group, but I did make it there and back. And when I was there, I met this guy who had just arrived at his goal, and he had been cross country skiing for 54 days from somewhere in central Sweden, and he had been aiming all this time for that boundary stone. So that was an impressive achievement. And then on our final day, um, we did a snowshoe hike up to um, what's the name of the mountain?
Done.
Sana. It's the second highest mountain in Finland, but it's only just over 1,000 meters, so not incredibly high. But you do get fabulous views across the frozen lake and around the landscape. And that was basically it. And I should mention also the photo in the center there, in where we were staying in Kilpisjärvi, we had a sauna and an ice pool, which was just a hole in the frozen lake. And there you can see some of our group enjoying being in the ice pool. So, oh yeah, I should mention, you can see Sana, the mountain that we climbed, in the center bottom right. It's the it's the mountain with the radio mast on top, and you can see it there taken from the lake. So okay, Rita, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, basically we did this based on, so the last year's Arctic Challengers wanted to learn cross-country skiing, which is not actually part of the Arctic Challenge disciplines. And then around that, we just wrapped up different locations and different sports that they had not yet experienced. So that was the idea. There's so much to do and learn in Lapland that I felt that, and also another season for them to experience. So therefore, Easter is completely different to mid-February. So that was the idea of this. And so great that so many people wanted to come back. So just be aware that your first visit may lead to more. Um, but Andrew mentioned the guy who did the 54-day ski hut-to-hut ski trip, and this is what we also do. And these pictures are from my last one, actually, just last week, up on the northern, very northernmost border, where the highest point of Finland is as well. And here we were just an informal setup, just a bit of meditation time for self as well, and just skiing, pulling the pulka from cabin to cabin. And we had a tent as well because weather there can change so much. And it did again have a proper full-on storm where you don't see 2 meters forward. And when you have a tent, you're fairly safe. You're very safe there. And then you just wait for the weather to pass. But this is very, very back to basics. But if you like endurance sport, this is very enjoyable as well. And of course, we had a day off there at some point, so we went to fish some rautu, Arctic char. These lakes up there are some of the best ones in the world. So yeah, really, really, really lovely time. Okay, but then this is more about let's take it to the Arctic Challenge since so many of you are planning for that. So I would say that it's a good sort of a first touch point to Finland and Lapland. We've created this in a way that you get to learn so many things, so many new sports. So as your sort of first visit, especially, I'd say it takes you furthest. And then from there, whether you want to come back to Finland or travel to some other snowy country, you are much better equipped for that as well. So here's some pictures from this past winter. The second week of February is when we were there, and we have a lovely history with lumberjack forestry in Finland. So in this event, we stay in those historical lumberjack cabins, which we specifically open and heat up for this event. So no tents or no camping apart from one night. Usually there's an option of sleeping in a tent as well. And here, yeah, some more pictures just with all the sports and our local hosts. So the whole village kind of comes together to organize this event. Very small, as you know. We have 25 places, but I think even 25 can be a bit tweaked. So let's say like last year we were 20, the year before 22. That's quite a nice number of people. So we're not talking about a mass event. This was the third edition, and so the next year is fourth. There's plenty of photos on the website that you can use as your resource when you're looking at different things, so you can learn from them as well. Temperatures will really range, but overall in all, it was quite a cold time, but that is just the best really, because that gives us the best scenery, most beautiful. And again, like Beth mentioned, you just need a little bit more clothes and you'll be fine. So there were some mornings when it was minus 30 degrees, and still we got quite hot when we were going through the terrain. And some days were minus 20, maybe minus 15 might have been the mildest in Celsius degrees. And saunas are a big part of it. The local food is a big part of it. So the lumberjack cabin hosts, they cook breakfast, lunch that we take with us, and then snack when we arrive, and then a proper dinner. So I don't think I've ever heard that anyone's been hungry during that event. Sauna is there hot every evening when you arrive or by late afternoon. And that's one of the best ways to recover and get warm after the day. And some people overdo it, like Rafik in this picture. Whether it's a snow roll, sometimes we have an ice plunge, sometimes we even have a jacuzzi, but very much part of the sauna culture. So I'm glad he and the others enjoyed. When it comes to the sports, I would say that there's always an excuse why you feel that, or there's a reason why you feel that you're not going to do strong, because maybe I'm not good with bikes, or maybe I've never done snowshoeing before. But the idea is really that every single stage is beginner friendly. So the idea is that you learn, and everything is these sports are beginner friendly in a way that will take some time to get a hang of it. And then from there, you can move on yourself independently. But our team is also there on the ground, so you can also advance with us if you want to. Oh, and I was meant to say about the running. So there is a stage there where we have the marathon or half, which you can choose. And that's where we usually time the stage, because that's the only thing where we can compare, right? So those who are interested in how well they do, there we take a time. But otherwise, usually people are doing it for the first time in their life. So the point of race is not really, no point really. That's why we call it a challenge. This is our team. So mostly local people who live in Akaslompolo. And we've been organizing this together for a number of years now, and really enjoy the events. So we're sort of all equal part of it, whether you're a participant or the people who are working in a race. It's equally really, really nice. Right. Do you guys have any questions? Feel free to shout if you have.
Hi, Rita. I've got a question, if that's all
Sure.
right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
But we're used to doing some long distance running and using our own shoes and things. But what kind of footwear are people wearing for the running part of the week on snow?
Yeah, so it depends a bit on the temperature actually. So if it's not too cold, and this is also on the kit list, so just normal trail running shoes or Gore-Tex running shoes are good. We recommend that you have a little bit bigger size so that you can fit in some wool socks underneath. But then if it's very cold, the boots that we actually provide, like Arctic snow boots, those are then the ones to wear. Or sometimes we may have a combination where you can start with your own shoes, and then there's a point, like a checkpoint, where you can change into the warmer pair if you want to. I haven't yet distributed the official material, but there's going to be like an event guide that tells more about the event, and then kit list that lists all the like clothing that you need to bring versus that you can consider as well, and then some examples of how you layer up and what you wear. So those in the sort of coming weeks, I'll share with everyone as well.
Great, thank you.
Maybe if I can add something, Rita.
Sure.
Yes, Gore-Tex shoes and with a good grip. You could even add some spikes. It depends a little bit from the year. Sometimes we have highs on the road, and so spikes are okay. And then it depends how fast you are. I mean, if you are more hiking or speed hiking, then you don't need spikes. But if you want to speed up, then it could be useful. And yes, almost the half of the stage is on a road. So you are not in deep snow for running. But
Right.
the part in deep snow is very tough.
Yeah, we were mostly on, and the roads are like it's packed snow. So it's quite easy. And I think most of us were in like Gore-Tex trail running shoes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, but definitely like more tips. So we'll have more information sessions on Zoom. We obviously have spaces. So there's a few people who've signed up who couldn't make this session, but we also have more people joining. And then once we get sort of past summer, we start have more regular information sessions. as well. So we'll cover these topics more and more and more. But yeah, so here's the upcoming, still wrapping up the season, which means that there's bound to be always ideas on what new things we do. But here you have a bit of an idea what's coming up. And I'm sharing this because we're a small company, and as you can imagine, every group, every customer for us is super important. So if you have friends who are maybe not up for the Arctic Challenge, but they may want to come and say bring a family or friends, anything like that. I just wanted to share with you is that we also do other kinds of things during the winter. And of course, friends still welcome to the Arctic Challenge as well. Here's how you get to Lapland, so you can see the map and where we are. So, and again, this is the information that we have on the website and also on the documents. But Kittilä is the closest airport to us, and usually if you fly from far, you will fly via Helsinki. But if you're coming from Europe, during the winter season, we have some direct flights from the main cities in Europe as well. So covering UK, Switzerland, Germany, France, and so on. But if you got more time to travel to us, then definitely recommend taking an overnight train. Currently, unfortunately, they only sell carriage. So whether you're 1 or 4, you'll pay the same fee. But if there's more of you who want to get together, it's a really lovely way of traveling across Finland on a 12-hour night train. And then you get close to us as well. There's a video actually here that so after this session in 10 minutes, we'll have some of more of the last year's participants joining who I promised to share this video that we did. It's about 12 minutes. So I think I skipped this and I'll share this with you as a link later on to watch, or you can stay on to the next session when the guys will join so that we can kind of talk about more things. But here's just a short summary of the event. I will not go this through, but most of these things you'll see on the website as well. But I'd just say the purpose of this event is that you can challenge yourself in the Arctic in a safe way. That's the idea. Every day you have an option of choosing a longer course, longer route, or shorter route, and that's up to you. You don't need to sign up for them beforehand, but you can decide day by day. And the route is marked, so the idea is that you can advance independently, but our route crew is there, and we are going from A to B as well. So those who want to stay with us and move with us can do that as well. And this is the map, and we are always fine-tuning. So then the actual route, you will be getting closer to the event. But the distance is about 100 kilometers. But I always say, don't underestimate it, because when you're in a powder or all kinds of terrain, it can take a lot longer than what you think. So usually between 4 to 8 hours a day is what you're out there. It depends a bit how fast you are, of course. And these were just showing you photos of the other things we'll do, but I'm only browsing them through fairly quickly because I already showed you photos. So custom trips we do any time of the winter or even other times of the year when there is a group coming. Cross-country ski camps will teach cross-country skiing. The reason why it's not part of the Arctic Challenge is that it's slightly more technical, and usually you get better value when you learn it over consecutive days. But this can be for instance, a good second time to come to Finland then to learn more. And like mentioned, these hut-to-hut trips as well are really, really nice. Okay, think we can finish off with the photos, but love to hear from you more if you have any questions.